Hello guys, it's Fantastic Mr. Fab, and we're playing Huntsman the Orphanage. It's an early access game, as you can tell, so not a lot of the stuff are completed, or the graphics are still kind of fucked up in my opinion. Like the hand, you'll see a couple jittering and stuff, and it's really weird, and it's hard to, I don't know, it's whatever. It's a fun game though, I played it the other day. WASD is to move, F is for torch, E is to interact, Shift is sprint, C is for crouch, Z is for prone, P for pause, and escape for save / exit. These look like little sound bits that we can play. So let's start with the female on the left.
What is it with guys? Maybe it's just me, but it seems that any time I want to exercise a little practical scientific inquiry into, I don't know, anything that to my mind seems a little sketchy, the guys at work totally give me a hard time. Like, I'm what? Not capable, not supposed to ask, be curious? Damn it, it's just so annoying. Like, look, take 99% of the so-called supernatural stuff on YouTube. Dorky teenage boys with some crap After Effects, a few pieces of nylon fishing twine, and some bullshit story. I mean, seriously. I know.
She speaks the
Most of it
truth.
is total crap. What about that other 1%? Or even 0.5%? Even that adds up to a hell of a lot of YouTube posts. Yeah, and I know that old copycat theory has a lot to answer for. You know, one guy sees a spaceship and suddenly everyone is seeing spaceships. They all look like 1950 hubcaps.
The monologues in this game are really long, but I enjoy them.
One scary
So I apologize if you don't like
the
them.
idea of seeing spooky shit through your smartphone. And suddenly, every scary indie game is seeing spooky shit through your smartphones. Yeah. Copying, ripping off others' ideas, it's human nature, but that pisses me off too. It's tough enough being a female in gaming. You know, you just get used to having a big hairy hand on your gun trigger, along with your abnormally large biceps, and all your grunts and huffing and puffing are big and butch. Either that, or you're some kind of Lara Croft clone with massive boobs. Yeah, I know, they reduced them, but they still dwarf most women I know. And some kind of abnormal hard-ass body. I mean, yeah, it's fun to have a cool avatar, but do they have to always be so westernly, culturally stereotypical? Guys, open your minds. We're meant to be a creative industry. Anyways, this Huntsman stuff has been popping up all over the web for like forever in my face. I seem to just keep bumping into it, like some kind of freaky coincidence, you know? Like an earworm, except it's not a song. It's Huntsman sightings. Stories of missing people, ones who just literally disappear. So as I say to the guys at the studio, I'm going to take my annual leave, which is way overdue and which Dean, my boss, has been on me to take for at least 6 months, and do a little Huntsman hunting of my own. No surprise, they all gave me a hard time. They think it's just hilarious that I'm off monster hunting on my break. And I've had the usual bullshit about go to Loch Ness instead of Illinois, blah blah. Then there's the clown who suggested I save the gas and just join a dating site if I want to meet weird dudes wearing masks. Yeah, very funny, guys. But at least I'm making a real effort to find out about a mystery that has been whispered about for more than 500 years. Whoever started that story wasn't planning on getting YouTube hits, so what was their motivation? And who knows? Even if I never find the truth, there might be some seed of an idea for a game spawned from it. Maybe I'll create my own indie game and stick it up on Steam Greenlight. Now there's a thought. To get to the bottom of this whole
Wow, these monologues are
the
take
old
forever.
missing orphan story, which is by far the one that crops up the most online, I wanted to start at the beginning of the sightings in the US. And as far back as I could go was Grimhaven Orphanage in Illinois. I found some court documents from September 1898, some 3 months after 12 orphans supposedly just disappeared into thin air. Apparently, an old caretaker had given sworn testimony to the judge that the Huntsman, as he called it, had taken the children.
The ranting of an inferior mind marred by distress, the judge decreed.
Although the judge in his summing up thought the caretaker, Jasper Crode, was a bit of a traumatized crazy guy by the sound of things. So whatever old Crode witnessed was enough to send him a little loopy, although I guess guilt for the murders of 12 children could do that too. So we're off to a good start. a mass abductor, and a loopy caretaker. This is already shaping up to be a girl's own adventure. Mom's freaking out about me going on my own, which is a so over-the-top typical parental reaction. Honestly, as long as my crappy car holds out, I'll be fine. And at least I'm not hitchhiking. Now, that would be scary.
Alright.
Illinois.
Oh god.
It's kind of on its way to somewhere else, yeah? The sun is getting low when I notice the countryside has become really pretty. That's when I see the signpost heading off to the right. Grimhaven Orchard Road. Oh wow, this has to be it. And so it seemed, because set back and along the roadaways was a building that looked as if it had to have once been an institution. An orphanage, maybe? Grimhaven Orphanage?
The sound effects are too spooky. I'm spooked. Wow, she's dead? Or did they just not finish the monologue? Scarlet, you there? Earth Scarlet.
Call me cynical, if you must.
I will do
Never blindly
Lucas.
believe the fables and
Vincent
fairy
Lucas.
stories the other kids seem to lap up. Instead, I was the one who pulled Santa Claus's beard off in the shopping mall and whispered to the next kid in the queue, "He's a fake." But I must say, I have become intrigued by the Huntsman myths and legends. Are they just someone else's dreams or nightmares? Did they start life as cautionary tales created to keep children from venturing?
Is this the same music Cry
the
uses for
forests
Cry Reads?
alone,
It sounds very
in
familiar.
case of wolves or worse? Or is there some substance to the stories of missing children? Whatever the reason, the myths persist. They live on in a world loosely bound together.
If I'm right, someone
by
tell me.
mysteries without substance. They are born, live, and die in the ignorance of the ill-informed and the apathy of their audiences. Fictions with little to no basis in fact, until they are held up to the scrutiny of science, where so often the strongest myths just shrivel up and die. Ah, science, practical inquiry, testing the truth. So you want to know what I'm
The
thinking?
music is so spooky, man.
Well, that's okay. As long as you're listening, I'll tell you what I'm thinking.
Go ahead.
Why hasn't anyone truly tested the Huntsman myth? I mean, really looked into it and tested it.
I don't know, but I assume that's what we're gonna do right now.
They'll tell you that the more you look into the Huntsman myths, the more likely you are to fall prey to him. But hey, if he's a load of baloney, nothing will happen. And you've successfully proven all this mythology is a fraud. And on the other hand, if you go mad, disappear, and end up held captive in some kind of alternate limbo-like dimension, you've successfully proven he is real. So from a scientific point of view, you can't fail, right? It's a win-win. So I started looking for him. I mean, really looking for him. To get to the bottom of this whole Huntsman thing and the old missing orphan story, which is by far the one that crops up the most online, I wanted to start at the beginning of sightings in the US. And as far back as I could go was Grimhaven Orphanage, Illinois. I found some court documents from September 1898, some 3 months after the 12 orphans supposedly just disappeared into thin air. Apparently, an old caretaker had given sworn testimony to the judge that the Huntsman, as he called it, had taken the children. So I hit the web. I'd narrowed down the search area and I hit the road.
So Vincent is heading over there too.
Illinois. It's kind of on the way to somewhere else, yeah? No disrespect or anything.
Scarlet said that too.
Hadn't thought of it as a destination before. When you get there, it's still really big. And it's still a long way to get to anywhere that's actually in Illinois. But I was getting closer. Always closer. Small towns. I understand them. They're okay. I was never that comfortable in the city, but this place, well, it was beyond the back of anywhere I thought I'd imagine. I'm usually the one doing the staring at strangers, but out here, everyone seems to be looking at me. And even though this is probably the town, nothing was showing me where to go now. But a few hours after, that evening in fact, I found a road that wasn't even on my Maps app. And the name on the hand-printed sign jangled my memory. Grim Haven Orchard Road. Maybe this is it. And yes, it was all orchards, but long, overgrown, and tangled. Just
Like my hair.
orchids. Maybe this was where they grew the fruit, and maybe the vegetables too, for the orphanage itself. And so it seemed, because set back and along
Pretty cool.
road a ways with a broken up phone box. Marking the laneway was a building. An orphanage, maybe? This could be it.
Okay, so that was Vincent. We've heard both Vincent and Scarlet's stories, and now we'll begin. The next video will have the actual gameplay. Alright, see you guys.